Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Pseudo Ludo video game podcast. And my name is Tim, and I'm joined here by my two very best friends, Brian and Nick.
Wow, hear that, Brian? We're back to best cat in the best
what
category.
did we do to get promoted?
Nothing. All my other friends are
dead.
All my friends are dead.
All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge.
In this podcast, we get together on a weekly basis and we talk about video games. We talk about what we've been playing. We talk about what's in the news, and we usually have some kind of special topic for the week. This week, we're going to be focusing on the Modern Warfare 2 remaster, which surprise dropped yesterday, although it had leaked earlier in the week. So we're just going to first start off with a mini game called What is on Tim's Desk. Now, usually we play What's on Brian's Desk, but we're going to switch it up because everybody needs a vacation now and then. So,
all right, get going.
So I'm going to name 3 things. And you guys are going to have to pick which one is a lie. Let's start off with a Richter amiibo from Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. He's a very muscular, beefy, chunky guy with a whip, and he looks very cool.
All right, can we get to number 2?
Number 2. I was going to say it's Simon Amiibo and do the whole thing again. I can't do that. Number 2, a can of Chunk Light Tuna, which
you would have that.
Which is
100% that's there.
It's lowered sodium than usual, and it's in water. It's suspended in water as opposed to oil, which makes it a little bit healthier. Although, guys, you do have to be aware you shouldn't eat tuna more than once a week, because you will have mercury poisoning. And finally, a Pro Air asthma inhaler, because I just came back from a run and it was cold out and I took an inhaler. So, which is a lie?
Well, if there was 3 items that could possibly be there for me to describe who you were as a person, Tim, those would be the 3.
Good.
I'm going to go with the Richter amiibo not being there, though.
Okay. Brian?
I'm going to say the inhaler.
Okay. And is that your final answer, both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
You are both wrong.
Really?
Yes.
Where's the tuna at? Because you definitely read that.
Yeah, I did. I didn't come up with a lie, and I had to look around my kitchen, and there's a tuna, a couple tunas over on the stack of quarantine food supplies that I have set up.
Not bad, kid.
Not bad, right? Not bad.
Am I 0 for 4 on this now?
Yeah, Nick, you stink.
Dude, you suck.
Yeah.
You're a bad listener.
All right, so let's talk about what we've been playing for the week. Brian, why don't we start with you? What have you been playing?
I got Animal Crossing, which I had not had at the last recording session. So I've been playing that, and also the Modern Warfare Remaster, which we'll get into later, but yeah, basically just Animal Crossing, grinding it out. Forgot how good those games are. I've been kind of addicted to it, low-key, but, good time to get addicted to a game like that.
Absolutely. It came out at the perfect time. I've been playing that a lot more, too. I think I actually like it even more now than when I got it at launch. Once you get in the rhythm of things and get everything started up, it gets a lot more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's designed to be kind of pick up and play, which I really like because it rewards you for playing every day, but also kind of discourages playing for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
I was
always
thinking that
stuff
too.
you can do, but there's not always stuff you should do. There's always a task every day, but after you do that, you can keep fishing and getting resources or whatever for as long as you possibly want. But, you could just not, and then the next day there'll be something else for you to do, and you get stuff for playing, and the world fleshes out and becomes bigger and bigger. Honestly, I feel like you don't really even see what the game is until you play it for multiple days in a row. And I've seen some screenshots on Reddit and stuff of stuff that makes it seem like it only goes further down that road. So
yeah, a lot of the things that you start off with in the other games, you have to build in this, the first store and that kind of thing. And yeah, from what I've seen too of people who have time skipped or whatever, it looks like you can really like pretty much fully develop your island however you want. So I'm really interested in continuing to play it. I have logged on, I think, almost every day. I maybe have missed a couple. And yeah, like you said, it's really good at having the right amount of content for like one good play session. And then you can kind of tune off, or if you want to stick around and do miscellaneous things like set up your house or do chores or whatever, catch fish. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I've been playing this week other than the MW2 campaign, and I'm in love with this game. It's exactly the type of game. I mentioned this on the last time I was on the show. Well, it's exactly the type of game that I like, and I was thinking about it today that with the MW2 campaign coming out back in 2009, what kind of games that I used to play? It was pretty much just sports games and COD, and that's pretty much all I bought every year is just sports games. And I was wondering if I had been introduced to Animal Crossing back then, if I would have had the same response to it, because I don't know if I had developed a more thorough appreciation for different types of games until later on, especially when you introduced me to Stardew, Tim.
Oh, love that game.
That really put me on a path for games of that nature.
Yeah. Well, I guess you always liked Minecraft, so that kind of... It has a similar feel to it. It's not the exact same. Animal Crossing and Stardew are more narrow in scope, but it has that same type of loop where you kind of make your own fun and build your home and stuff.
Would you say, barring Breath of the Wild, for you, Murph, specifically, that this is your favorite Switch game?
I really liked Mario Odyssey, but you'll have to ask me once I get farther in Animal Crossing and kind of see how that, once the new car smell wears off.
Are you gonna consider Minecraft a Switch game?
No, like a game that's for Switch,
games for
like
Switch.
not ported to Switch.
All right, sorry.
It's by far the most fun I've had playing a Switch game since I've gotten the Switch, by far.
Did you played Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't beat either of them, but I played both of them.
Okay.
And I've played Luigi's Mansion and Link's Awakening and a couple other games. My Switch portfolio is not as diverse as my PlayStation/Xbox.
Yeah.
I haven't played Odyssey, but it's probably hard to make a comparison to Breath of the Wild because, well, I guess you can because you get to do whatever you want, kinda. But Breath of the Wild is so expansive in its options. Like, you could just go surfing. It's just different things you could enjoy in each one. I don't know which one I would enjoy more.
That's what I'm saying.
Per se, but
have you guys been playing it in docked or in handheld mostly?
I've only been playing in docked.
Predominantly handheld, but I've done both.
The Switch battery life is garbage.
Yeah.
So, I'm home. I'm not going to make an effort to just sit in bed and play like that. I have a game room. I'll just sit in the game room, have it docked, and play.
This guy's got a game room. Jeez.
I have found, because I'm very bad at paying attention to movies or shows for the most part while I'm doing other things, but for this, there's some, like, when you're running just, like, the normal interstitial loops of, like, getting
fishing,
resources or whatever. Yeah, not, like, the actual, socializing or advancing the town's development. I can do that while I watch shows without losing the show. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, if I have my phone out, I will always get distracted and stop paying attention to a show. So I, will leave my phone in another room. But I've been playing this while I watched shows during this quarantine, and I've been able to do both.
Like when I played online with you guys yesterday, which, by the way, we should get into that. That was a lot of fun. But when I played online, I put it in the docked mode just so it was on a bigger screen, and I had Discord up and that kind of thing. But I've been playing mostly handheld, just like on my lunch break, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've played it in bed a little bit. It's really great. It's kind of like Minecraft. Like, for me, the way you were talking about it, that's what I do with Minecraft, is like when I have a monotonous or more monotonous task that I can kind of zone out of, I can, put a show on and watch and stuff. And I've been doing that a little bit with Animal Crossing. But yeah.
Animal Crossing has really made me feel like wanting to go back and play Minecraft in our
Oh,
world.
dude,
Tim,
every
and
time.
finish our world.
Every time.
But I do want to wait until they let it be able to port over to PS4 so we can get the platinum easier if we're gonna take down the Ender
I agree.
Dragon.
I'm starting to think we should just start a world on PS4 for the platinum and keep the realm for that. But anyways, we're a little bit off topic, but do you guys want to walk back to the online session that we played? I think that's worth mentioning.
Sure.
So this game lets you visit your friends' islands, and for Nintendo, and I don't like to give them a lot of credit at all for online, but this is a pretty good experience compared to what I thought it would be like. I thought it would be a lot more cumbersome, and it's definitely not as it doesn't work as well as it would work on PlayStation or Xbox or PC, but I think it works fine. Like, we had a pretty easy time visiting each other and all that. There are some weird things with, I don't know, certain, I assume they do it to prevent cheating and all that, which is weird because it's not a very competitive game, but overall I had a lot of fun. How about you guys?
Yeah, Tim, before we played with Brian and I came to your island, we were playing hide and go seek, which sounds so childish.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
It was really, really funny. We were laughing really hard. Another thing
Are you jealous, Brian?
Yeah, he is
Yes.
jealous.
I'm gonna edit that out so nobody has to hear it.
Another
Me
thing
and
I really...
Brian, we're Brian.
Did you guys have anything else?
This is a little bit off topic, but I saw today that I didn't know this. If you leave your money in the savings account, the bells in your savings account in resident services, I think it's on the first of the month. It collects interest.
Yeah, I got some interest in the mail today, and I don't know how that works.
Is it a
Seems
lot?
like it's like 0.5 or it's like 5 or 0.5% from what I saw online.
I saw 0.5.
There's no way.
But I think it's 5. I think it's,
Milk
I don't know,
ain't
but I
doing
think
it.
it's
Come on.
only what you have in on the 31st, which is kind of broken to me. Like, if you want to just like put it all in on the 31st, you could do that. It's, you know what I mean? It's not like a,
Yeah, what is
I'm not
Nintendo
sure.
doing? You gotta teach kids how the economy works.
yeah,
How investing works.
yeah, long-term build up. You can't just throw all your money down
A
on the
Roth
31st.
IRA.
Yeah.
Compounding interest over long-term investments.
My girlfriend and I were talking about like the banking stuff and that, and it's just sounded like we were talking about actual banking. It was really funny, like all the interest rates and all that. But yeah, so anyways, I think that was a pretty substantive discussion about Animal Crossing, and I think a lot of people are still enjoying it. It's definitely a game that keeps people tied to it because new stuff seems to happen at least every other day. New people come to the island, that kind of thing. So we'll probably keep playing and have more updates next week as the...
And you guys can keep expecting raccoon figurines in the mail because when I get enough clay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep mailing you those because I think they're hilarious looking.
Yeah, so Nick has been doing that, making these raccoon figurines in Animal Crossing, and he sent me 2, and I put 2 of them in my garden, and then he sent another one, and then I just had it in my inventory, and I was walking around just caring about my day, and one of the villagers, like I talked to one of the villagers, and there was an option.
know.
Yeah, there was an option like give something, and I did, and I gave her that. So these are in circulation around my town now. She's like, I can't wait to put this on display. So your legacy will be known.
Yeah, I have 2 now, and they're terrifying. Every time I see it, I think it's a person not near my house, and I don't like it at all. And I'm dreading getting more in the mail. And I tried to sell one, and they don't even give you that much money, so I just kept it.
Of course not. He's whipping them up like they're nothing over there. They're clearly not worth anything.
Yeah, he would have kept them if they were worth a lot of money.
Well, even
No,
if
that's
they
a
would be
good bet.
they'd be harder to make if they were worth a lot. You know?
Not always in my, like, sometimes you can make a piece of furniture that sells a lot, even if it's not too many resources, I think.
Did you guys hop on today?
No.
Yeah, I played a little bit today.
I haven't
Did
yet.
you
I will later.
See all the
probably.
bunny day stuff?
Yeah,
No.
I don't like it at all.
What?
Yeah,
What?
I was looking for more clay
Yeah,
for more raccoon figurines, and I was however we want to call it, mining the rock, and like 4 of the things were stone eggs.
yeah.
Like, I need resources. I don't need eggs. I made a cool stone egg outfit, and I made the wood egg outfit, the hat, the robe, and the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather just have resources, I think.
Yeah, when you cut the wood down, now instead of having 3 wood options, it's 3 wood options and an egg. So you're suddenly getting less wood for
Sometimes
every.
there's only 2 wood options.
Yeah. So you're getting less wood for every chop now. Not a fan of that resource. And the eggs are worthless because I do not want Easter themed like decorations in my house.
I'm wearing my Easter themed attire right now.
Yeah.
But they should, and then even for the earth eggs, you have to dig them up, and they look like they're cracks in the ground, like fossils.
Yeah. I don't
I'd
have.
much rather just find a fossil.
I don't have like anything to say. I don't want those, and I'm just
Only
gonna be
one
walking
day.
around.
Get over it. Let
No,
the people have
it's
their
not.
fun.
It's until
12
Easter,
days.
Brian.
It's 12
Wait,
days.
really? Never mind.
Yeah.
That's,
And
wait, why is it called Bunny Day?
they can't have it be called Easter. No, Bunny Day is on the 12th. Like this is all in the lead up to Bunny
Oh,
Day.
this is like wow. It's like Coachella.
And they aren't worth anything.
No, they're
Try
worth
to sell
nothing.
them.
They're taking up all my space. Very tired of it. Especially because there's like 6 different types, and they don't stack. They stack with each other, but not all the types don't stack. So that's like 6 inventory slots that are taken up. I have to keep running them back, putting them in storage, all that. But alas. So did you guys play anything else this week?
The MW2 campaign, but we could talk about that after we get into a brief news rundown.
Yeah. Well, anything else from you, bruh?
No, that's mostly it, I think.
I played a little bit more Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and I
That's not
played.
Animal Crossing.
I played and beat Hotline Miami, which is really fun.
Wow, good for you.
Definitely recommend that to anybody. I'm working on the platinum, but I don't know
That
if I'll
game's
be able
hard.
to get it. It's to get the platinum, you need to get the S rank or A plus rank, whatever. It's so hard. I've gotten it in the majority of the levels, but the final couple levels I have to still get, and I don't even.
What kind of gameplay is that? Like,
It's like,
I don't know the
an
genre.
arcade, like twin stick type of thing.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's like super stylish. Yeah, super trippy. It's like hyper violent. It's hyper violence is how I would describe it. It's just like super, like all these different weapons that you just go in and rock people with. But it's all about getting better scores and doing more ridiculous stuff to get higher scores. It's really hard, but it's very rewarding when you do get that high score that you're looking for. But yeah, other than that, just playing Animal Crossing and Modern Warfare
As
2.
everybody should be.
Played some Warzone, that kind of thing. So let's get through the news real quick. So first up on the news, it is the 35th anniversary of the Mario series, and there have been many rumors running around of new Mario remasters and new entries to the series coming to the Switch to celebrate the 35th anniversary. All right, so according to Eurogamer sources that have alleged knowledge of Nintendo's upcoming plans, a report states that Nintendo will release most of Super Mario's 35-year back catalog this year, remastered for the Nintendo Switch. And there's no specific details on which games this will include, but we could likely be seeing Super Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, and some of the older 2D Super Mario games. Now, a lot of these are already available on the Switch, on the Nintendo Switch Online and Super Nintendo Online, or on the NES Online and Super Nintendo Online. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's mostly 3D Mario games, but I don't know if I believe these, but I would be happy to see it. What about you guys?
I'd be very happy to see that. Even if it was just one of those games, honestly, I would be happy about it.
I've heard that it also included in that, it says that there's going to be new entries, including a new Paper Mario, which I've heard before, like on other rumors, and that I would love. N64 Paper Mario is great.
I would believe a Paper Mario is coming out, incidentally. And I would believe a collection of maybe Mario 64 and Mario I'd believe a collection of Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 would be coming. And that would be great if there was like just a game collection of those few games.
I don't even see that. I would be shocked if that ever happened.
I don't believe most of Super Mario's 35-year back catalog, because that's like dozens of games.
Well, I think that only would include like the 3D open, like the main line.
You don't, okay. I mean,
all the
even that
2D ones are already available, all the ones of note. So I think it just includes
Super Mario Land.
That's a Game Boy one though.
Yeah, that's of note.
I don't think that's what would be falling into.
No,
this.
I agree. I don't think any of this is happening.
I think if it was to happen, it would be the ones you said. And
Yeah,
then
I
they
agree.
also
Yeah.
allegedly are porting the Wii U one, Mario 3D World.
Which is weird that they haven't done that already, since they've ported so many Wii U games already. You would think they'd have wanted to do that one first, since Mario always sells so well.
Yeah, but Burnout Paradise coming to Switch soon.
Oh, great. Can finally play that game on my Switch. The 2008 game.
It's a good
Really
game.
nice. Great game.
Hashtag bring Burnout back.
All right, so next up on the news, a remaster of the original 2010 Nier, which many people probably know better as the first game in Nier Automata, is going to be released as an upgraded version called Nier Replicant. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say it. Nier Replicant version 1.224744874139.
I love
And-
that's included. Like they were in a boardroom like arguing over the .0000 number.
So this upgraded version is going to be in development for PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. And I didn't play this, but you guys have been playing through Nier Automata, so maybe you'd have more to say about this.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in any sort of subsequent entry in this series because I really have been enjoying Automata. I haven't finished my third route yet, but I beat the main like story arc, and it's really cool. I mean, this is obviously different. It's a different developer, and I think it takes place in like a totally different era. But I would definitely be interested depending on the time and the price. I don't know if this one was as well received though. I think this was more like a cult favorite versus critical, but I could be wrong. But
Was it ever released in the West?
yeah, it wasn't called this. It was just called Nier, I think.
Nier,
oh,
yeah.
Maybe this is another game. I'm not sure. There
No,
might be
I think
more
it's
than
just,
that.
I
There was a
believe it's
Nier
just
that
Nier.
came out here, but maybe
Okay.
if it's Replicant is a separate
Oh,
game.
because yeah, this is called Nier Replicant is being upgraded for PS4. Okay, so that might just be Nier Replicant. 10-year anniversary, 2010. No, I think it's the original.
Yeah, it's the original. It's the original Nier with no subtitle. In Japan, there were two versions called Nier Gestalt and Nier Replicant, and this is
Okay.
the Replicant version.
That makes sense. All right, and the final piece of news today is one that we're going to talk about for a bit longer. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign has been remastered, and it was dropped as a surprise yesterday. That's Tuesday, the 31st of March. And yeah, so we've all been playing this. And Brian, how far are you in this? Did you get through it all yet, or?
I'm on the third act. I've been
Okay.
playing through it on veteran, so
Same here.
I would have beaten it already if I wasn't, but yeah. I mean, I've already played this game like 15 times probably, and I'm a single player focused person, so I've always enjoyed these campaigns more than the multiplayer, which is obviously not the popular opinion, which is why I think it's super weird that they even did this, but I'm very excited about it because this is my favorite Call of Duty campaign. And I think it still holds up wonderfully. It looks really good, and I don't know how much they've done to it. Like, I don't think it's the same thing as, like, what they did with Modern Warfare 1, but I could be wrong. But it looks like how I remember it looking, so I would imagine there has to be some sort of upgrade because that game is 10 years old. But, yeah, it's awesome.
On that point, I noticed, like, a lot of the animations look... I don't think they really did too much other than maybe an up-res and... added some better textures and stuff like that, but it seems like it's still the base game underneath. Like all the animations and stuff still look around 2009 animations, which I mean it still does look great. It's an awesome game. It's been playing fantastically. I've really enjoyed it so far. I never played through the original story of Modern Warfare 2. I played the split screen a lot, and I played some online at a friend's house, stuff like that. But I've never actually have played this campaign, and the first time I played Call of Duty 4's campaign was actually last fall, so this came out at a great time for me to kind of play through the original Modern Warfare trilogy. I did play the third game.
You play the campaign?
Of the third game, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
It's
but
not good. That's by
No,
far
it
the
was
worst
just
of the
like
3.
I remember it just feeling like a Michael Bay movie the whole time.
I mean,
Lots
they
of
all do,
explosions.
but that one like has
That
no
one-
memorable set pieces
yeah,
or anything.
that was
It's
coming
just
right
like-
off Black Ops, and Black Ops was so much better. I thought, like, I can still remember the Black Ops campaign.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 is when they started to get kind of like not like it like fan servicey, I guess. Like there's the whole thing in Modern Warfare 3 where like you play as a juggernaut and it's just so stupid. Like that was cool, like that's cool as like a Spec Ops thing, but it's just like the first 2 Modern Warfares and Black Ops 1 have like a really good balance between self-seriousness and self-awareness, where I feel like it starts to kind of stop as they go forward. Like they get a lot more cheesy, but like are not self-aware when they're being cheesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Do you think that has anything with them focusing more on the multiplayer as time went on and less on the campaign?
No, I think it's because specifically with the Modern Warfares, a lot of those people left and did Respawn. And the Titanfall 2
Yeah.
campaign is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns of the past 10 years. So it makes perfect sense that a lot of these people left. And there
Right.
hasn't been a good Call of Duty campaign since Ghosts. So, or like a great Call of Duty campaign. Like they're all fine.
Of the same tier as Black Ops and these original Modern Warfare ones. Yeah.
Yeah, there's it really is, it holds up so well. Like there's just such a sense of scope and atmosphere, and like the story is definitely somewhat silly and ridiculous, but just like there's a tone to it that has not been present since this game, where like the aesthetic and the way things are framed, really, it's so cinematic without feeling completely scripted, and it's so memorable. Like every single mission has something. I immediately remembered it. Like there was nothing forgettable about any of these missions. Like the things you're doing or the way the story progresses or whatever. Like just the DC section where like all those troopers are dropping it is like horrifying.
The 2 big things so far that I've gotten to that literally gave me goosebumps once I remembered them were the snowmobile mission.
Yeah.
Right in the beginning, and when you breach the doors on the oil rig and it goes in slow mo.
That's badass.
Those are the 2 things that I've gotten to that I remember from back then, 11 years ago or 10 years ago, however long it's been, and it really, really still hits home.
Another thing that's so wild to think about. So everybody knows No Russian is the extremely controversial mission from this game where you are undercover with a terrorist group that starts opening fire on innocent people in an airport, and you can or cannot participate in the violence if you want, or you can skip the mission entirely. And I had played it once on PS3, but then I would skip it on subsequent playthroughs because I just personally thought it was, just a little much to just keep playing, because I played that game a lot, and I played it again on PS4. I won't, keep playing it on subsequent playthroughs. It really is just like wild to think about that one of the most, like bar none, one of the most provocative moments in video game history is in a Call of Duty game.
And that's still in there today.
But like think about now, like how they're just so nonchalant anymore. Like they used to be events, like and not just because this was like a controversial thing, but like these were like movies. Like they're still selling really well, obviously, but it's just become like something that's it's going to be there, doesn't really matter. Like the annualization of it has just degraded not only the quality.
Do you think that's because we're getting older? Because our generation, like, probably, I don't want to say started getting into video games when these were popular, but
no, I don't think these games are as good.
That was just the gaming, like people who played video games were hyped for those games every year for a while.
I remember in high school everyone would take off whenever the next Call of Duty game came out.
It was equivalent to like an Avengers movie releasing.
Yeah,
or something of that, or like a Star Wars, like back when those were big deals. Something like that, where it was a big event and everyone was super excited. And obviously, the fans of the franchise who play it every year still get excited, but it's nothing of like that same, people at the midnight release, that type of thing.
I'm sure that's still going on. It's just that I think they've become so like dependable. Like I don't think there's ever been, and I know people would disagree with me, I don't think there's ever been a bad Call of Duty game. However, I don't think there's been a great Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2, probably.
Black Ops
was before. Or no, you're right. No, yeah, it was after. Since Black Ops 1.
I had a lot of fun in Black Ops 2, the online. I don't know if we're gonna count that here, but
I'm mostly just talking the story. Like I think all the online's fine. I don't think I was never like obsessed with the online except for like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 were the ones that
you guys
played
want to hear a
online
little story?
Sure.
Well, for Modern Warfare 2, I mostly only play the online in COD games because these kind of first-person shooter campaigns really don't sit with me all the time. Like, I think some of them are kind of just like lazy.
Most of them are.
But, yeah, so I don't really play them much. But when I had this game on my PS3, I mostly played the online, and then when I would start the campaign every now and again, but then never finish it, and then I restart it again, whatever. But when Lizard Squad took down the PlayStation Network, whenever that was, that's Christmas time.
Yeah.
That's when I finally sat down. That was when I finally sat down to play the campaign because I wanted to play COD, and that was the only option I had. And during the No Russian mission, my mom and my grandpa walked in my room and saw me doing what I was doing, and they were very mad.
Yeah, that's probably not the best one to come into out of context.
There is not really context, though. That's definitely like a shock value thing. It's not like commenting on anything.
I was thinking about that. There's no reason for that to be in there.
It's there to provoke.
Yeah, it was a news story, and it got a lot of press. Yeah.
I'm not arguing for or against it, but that's literally the only reason. It's there to be shocking. Like, that's it. Which is insane, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine that happening in the Call of Duty game now. It just wouldn't. Like, the most recent one had some, like, vague controversy because there's, like, some intense stuff in the campaign.
White
it's
phosphor.
not like that. Yeah, that, and that was in the multiplayer. But it's not the same level. And, like, these stories are so paint by numbers now. Like, even Black Ops, like, the first one is fucked up. Like, there's a part where you put glass in somebody's mouth and punch them, and it's, like, an interactive thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
wow.
It's, like, they're really edgy, and, like, not necessarily in a good or bad way. Because it is kind of, like, it's a fine line between, like, actually needing to be in the game versus just being stupid. And it definitely is tricky to navigate, but those early campaigns are just so much more memorable. And I think, obviously, the multiplayer was too, but the multiplayer, I think, the whole package is just a dependable thing. Like, you know what you're getting every time, but I just don't think it has stood above that in any of the spheres that they normally release with, whether it be Spec Ops / Zombies or the campaign or the multiplayer, since probably Black Ops 2. You're right, Nick. I know a lot of people really like that multiplayer, and that campaign's fine too. But I don't think, like, any of the ones when we went to college and onward, like, none of them really, they're just average, I think. And I think you can really see how much Modern Warfare 2 stands the test of time replaying it, because it still feels so epic and fresh, and, like, it plays really good. Like, I haven't really run into any problems or anything that feels dated. And I just wish that there was more first-person shooter campaigns like this. Because the closest thing you have now is, like, Doom, which is more old school. And this is definitely, like, a modern, quote-unquote, shooter with, like, the scripted events and stuff like that just doesn't happen in the old school shooters, and the, like, health pickups and all that Doom kind of brought back. It's interesting how that time was so different in terms of what was in the mainstream. Like, now, like, this was on the precipice of, like, when shooters became huge. Like, Modern Warfare 2 was, like, the planting the pole and the, you know, the flag and on the moon, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm talking about, a victory flag. Because Modern Warfare 1 is the one that kind of pushed it all forward. And now it's, like, if you look back on it, this was, like, kind of when games stopped being new and stopped trying new things in the mainstream sphere. Where, like, now the top 3 to 5 games every year, the most anticipated games every year, are remakes or remasters or things that are doing old school things like Doom, or Animal Crossing. They're being praised for going back to their roots, versus this was, like, one of the last times where a big tentpole thing was trying wild new things. And it was just something I was noticing when I was replaying it, that the games at that time were all kind of taking big swings, and I don't really feel like a lot of the mainstream games do that anymore, the big budget games.
I was just gonna say, like, specifically with big budget, you see the biggest budgets go all to the most dependable things that are always going to make money, and definitely a lot of innovation has gone out of those. Needless to say, the sports genre entirely, definitely first-person shooters, and the open world games that were coming out at that same time, the Assassin's Creed, how revolutionary that was. You kind of get a cookie cutter thing, and obviously they've reinvented themselves a little bit and people like the newer ones, but it is still the same type of thing, and you're not seeing too much innovation in those big budget things. Luckily, there has been a lot of innovation in smaller games, and not even small as in indie small, but just smaller budget. And I think that's just going to be how it is now. Just the same with Hollywood and all that. The biggest budgets go to usually, Brian, am I right? Like the ones that are going to be like a Fast and Furious, the ones that you know are just going to make the most money.
Yeah, but it's a shame because the ones that got them to this place were the ones that were trying the new, like you said, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 2 was the last one that tried like really something new. Like the newer ones, Origins and Odyssey, kind of just pivoted to something else that was already successful. Like, like Assassin's Creed 2 was by far the biggest pivot that that series had taken at that time, and that was the same year, I think, or around the same time as like Modern Warfare 2 and Uncharted 2, and these games that were going like bigger and kind of fleshing out these formulas more. And I just feel like now it's either the biggest games of the year are either remakes / remasters or games
sequels,
trying to go back to what they had before versus trying to think ahead. Like literally think of the next three biggest games: the Final Fantasy VII remake, the Resident Evil 3 remake, and Last of Us Part 2, which is not as guilty of this because I'm sure that's going to be wild. That's probably going to be like more what I'm saying of these games taking something that was successful and building on it versus sticking with it or looking backwards.
Yeah, I think obviously Sony's usually an exception with this, and Sony has been really good with their first-party games breaking new ground. I mean, Spider-Man is a cookie-cutter formula, but it's the first time we see a licensed character of that scale, I want to say, in a game like that, which was awesome. I guess you could say Batman with the Arkham games did it first.
That was last gen, though.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm saying like maybe it's not that original because it's something else did it first. But you even do see that with Uncharted 4, where I don't think they need to make a fourth one. God of War, I think, is obviously it was an established franchise, but it went in a whole new direction, and it was definitely a risk, I think, to do that. So I would applaud that for trying something completely new. But yeah, I think you do have you make a pretty good point as a whole, and that's kind of where I think maybe that's why I'm more interested now in like these not like weirder games, but more off the mainstream radar. I'm more willing to try things now, just because it seems like the mass appeal games are still great and very well made, but not as fresh as they once were, at least in the sense that they used to be when I first was playing them, when they first started coming out. And I don't know if that'll ever taper off because it seems like Call of Duty is still going strong every year. So I think it's just a mainstay. But I think there's been a lot of innovation in other areas. I'd like to see VR establish itself more because I think there hasn't really been a major change. If you think about the difference between the NES and the Super Nintendo, like that's a huge change. And games were inspired by this new power that they were given to, innovate in all these different ways. Same with the jump from 2D to 3D. There's all these new opportunities and developers are all excited. They have these new challenges facing them. They have to think of new ways to play a game now that there's a new perspective. And since probably PS2 or PS3, games have started looking a lot prettier and running a lot better, and you can fit more on them, but the actual way you play the game hasn't changed all that much since probably mid PS3, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm kind of trying to get
That's
at.
I think that's probably why we're seeing this. I don't want to call it a stagnation because that's discrediting the hundreds of games that are innovative and really fun and really new and cool, but definitely in the mainstream sense. Whereas, if Call of Duty had at some point, I don't know how this would happen, but if they had to make the jump from 2D to 3D, you would see a huge change. And that's what a lot of people want VR to be, is kind of that next step. And I don't know if it'll ever get there. But it would be cool to see some crazy new technology that can just light a fire under all these, yearly released games. So I don't know. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Thinking about this point of like stagnation makes me reflect on a personal level, like how I have kind of evolved as a game player, a gamer, if you will.
Oh, I hate that word.
But like I said before, only playing sports and COD, and now I do play like you said, not weird, but other things like
right.
Even like RimWorld, Stardew. I mean, those are both huge games, especially Stardew.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's a different genre than what you start out with.
It's not the same form. It's not the same formula that these other things are continually putting out every year.
Right, and I've
something different.
I've got much more appreciation for deliberate design things like Dark Souls. I don't want to return to that all the time, but even older games that have deliberate design like Castlevania, I've become much more into well designed things like that aren't just huge budgets thrown in your face, but just you can feel the love behind those games. Even something like Hotline Miami is something I would not really have. Actually, I probably would have been into Hotline Miami back in the day, but I never would have heard of it. But yeah, still, I'm having a lot of fun with Call of Duty.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it so far?
It's great. It's awesome. It has that. So, like I said, I've played a couple missions. Like I had played No Russian. I don't know how, and I had played the demo mission and stuff, and I'd like seen it. It's one of the biggest games of all time. I've seen a lot of it, and I've been immersed in it for a while, so I know all the characters and stuff. But it's like playing a game that I've already played that I've never played. Do you know what I mean? It's like a game that I should have played. It feels like playing Black Ops, and it feels like playing Modern Warfare 1 and World at War and stuff. And it's like that generation you can feel in this so much, and it's really, I don't know how to describe it, but it does feel so much more different. It feels like a 2009 atmosphere, really. But I've really enjoyed it so far. It's very entertaining. I'm playing on Veteran because I'm going to go for the Platinum like you, and that's been fun. It's been challenging. It hasn't been as frustrating as Modern Warfare 1 at all.
Another thing I really appreciate about this game is I discovered it this morning when I woke up at 3:30 in a cold sweat, thinking about a nightmare that Tim made me his best man. I forgot to make the speech.
Never going to happen.
And that I have a terrible fear of public speaking. But
welcome to our podcast. Jeez.
Regardless, I woke up at 3:30. I didn't get out of bed till 4, and then I started playing the campaign a little bit, and I really appreciate how the missions, like each individual mission, is really only about a 15-minute like time frame. You know what I mean?
They're really short if you're not playing on Veteran.
Yeah, I think I really like that because you're not drawn into something. It's not gonna feel repetitive in that mission in itself.
Yeah, there's like no grind at all. Like whatever you're doing,
you're mixing it up every 15 minutes. You're becoming a new character, a new person.
Yeah, there's a
and
ton
then
of
you're gonna be in a different,
the pacing is
different
like
environment, different
excellent.
guns, all this stuff.
Very great variety, really fun, good mix of
a lot
stealth
of set pieces and
missions.
stuff.
I've noticed they were really good. The DC one where you're defending Burger Town, that was a really good balance of making you feel desperate, at least on Veteran, making you feel desperate and then giving you that power again. Like running and dodging to try and get the Stinger missiles, and then you're able to shoot the Stinger missiles and knock down the helicopter that's been chasing you, or fighting off hordes of enemies with just your guns, and then getting the airstrikes so that you can just take out a whole army at once. It's really fun, really rewarding. It does get frustrating if you die, though, especially in that mission. That was there was a lot of shots that I couldn't even tell where they were coming from, just knocking me over in a couple
That's
hits.
just a Veteran thing, though.
Yeah, yep.
I'm playing on normal, And the thing that I've died to most so far is not recognizing or not realizing that a car is on fire, and I go to use it for cover.
Oh, that's a terrible time.
Classic.
Then it
That's a
blows
classic.
up. I get so mad at myself every time.
I do wish. I would really wish the split screen was still available. I would like to play the online. That would be a lot of fun. I played Modern Warfare 1's remastered online, and I had a lot of fun with that. But split screen would be the most nostalgic part of this game for me, and I would really love to play that.
Yeah.
1v1 on Rust.
They're adding a bunch of those maps onto the 2019 Modern Warfare.
Right, which is fine, but I'm pretty sure they were planning on remastering the multiplayer too. I think they even talked about it, and they said they didn't want to split the player base.
Yeah.
So they probably were like, oh, we're just going to dump these maps into the game that we have out right now, which, fair enough.
Another thing about the campaign that I think works really well is how varied the environments are.
Yeah.
It's kind of like more like a James Bond game than a war game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You're,
agree.
like,
I would
all
like
over
that.
the globe, like doing all sorts of shit. Like, and I feel like the more newer ones, actually, I don't even know, but at least some of the most recent ones, it's a lot of kind of the same. And I
Yeah.
think that variety adds a lot to the pacing of it and keeping your interest in the memorable nature of it, because they put you in very distinct places.
As someone who just played Modern Warfare 1 Remastered, that game had a lot more just Middle East fighting. It makes sense it's called Modern Warfare. And this one immediately varies it up a lot more. You're fighting in American neighborhoods. You're fighting in snowy mountains.
Yeah, the DC sections that's such a good setting, and like
the Red Dawn style.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful
Yeah.
scenery.
Did you ever sit back and just pay attention to how many Russian troops are parachuting in?
Yeah,
No,
it's a
'cause
lot. That seems like
I
a
was
So
dude,
funny. They're so they
Yeah.
just keep coming. They never stop. It's hilarious.
On
seems
Veteran,
like a really
it's a
bad,
nightmare.
strategy for them.
I was thinking that, I was like, what are they doing? Like, what?
Besides
you're
being
not gonna-
scary.
I know they tried to explain how they couldn't see all the ships, like the aircraft troop carriers coming in, but it really makes no sense. Like, that would never. You can't invade the United States
Yeah,
from
there's
air.
definitely a lot of lapses in logic in the story for sure. It's
Yeah.
like an action.
It's really funny. It's really funny because Modern Warfare 1 is, and I don't think we have to worry about spoilers because it's a 10-year-old game, but Modern Warfare 1 is all about, pretty much preventing a World War III, and, you do prevent it by stopping that missile at the end, and then it seems to immediately fail in Modern Warfare 2.
and get
I know
way
it's
worse
5
in
years
3.
later. Yeah. 3 was a nightmare. It was not even
Literally
Modern
everything
Warfare.
blows up in 3.
Yeah. Yeah, Modern Warfare 1 felt a lot more grounded, even though it wasn't grounded. It was still crazy, but it felt a lot more like a story told in, a reasonable story. And this one is already, World War III is happening. But it's really fun.
It strikes that balance of something like Fast and Furious, where it's enough stupid stuff, but you also kind of take the rest of it seriously.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean? It's
snowmobile
you
jump
care,
that you make that's
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
characters, there is literally you could not tell me anything about Ghost or Captain Price besides
Ghost
what
looks
they
cool.
look like.
Bryce
yeah.
has cool facial hair.
But somehow
Soap has
that
cool
is
hair.
enough. They're
It is enough.
Well, it's the same thing as Fast and Furious, where they don't have any character traits, but you're just on board, and that's the
I know
only
one
other
thing
one
they
that
do
did that was
have,
Black
Brian.
Ops Family.
I know one thing they do have.
So does Soap and Captain Price and
Yeah.
Ghost.
Dude, you could throw those dudes right into a Fast and Furious movie and they would be right at home there.
Yeah, it'd be sick. I was thinking about that while I was playing
Price
this.
in
I
a
was
Fast
they
and
should make
Furious movie?
these.
Oh.
They should make these like a Fast and Furious type of thing.
Why
like
hasn't there
movie
been a
franchise.
movie, honestly?
There
that
would
seems
definitely
like
be a
a
lot
no.
of people saying it's irresponsible to depict war in that way, which jury's out.
Yeah.
But
They could make it more espionage. I think the espionage stuff, like you were saying, is some of the most fun stuff, and I would love to see a game with more of that. That's not just a stealth game. What I mean?
that's
I
what
the-
Ghosts was.
Right.
The rest of that game is not good, but the story was awesome. The campaign.
I like the
it was a lot
curated
of
missions
very-
about all
Yeah.
the globe-trotting adventure where you're we got to go here and steal this intel, we got to get this guy out, that kind of thing. I think
And I
that's
still
really fun.
think that's probably the bar for that type of scripted cinematic storytelling in games. Like I don't know, the design of this game specifically, it feels like a very good line that, like, and Uncharted obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't really know if
Uncharted
it has
has
been
that same
topped
thing.
since this year, because both Uncharted 2 and this were in the same year. Like, I don't know if I was, and it might just be because I was so much younger, but I don't think I've had that level of, like, you
No,
feel
I think
like
you're
you're in
right.
a movie. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to
Because
trying
like
to think
God of
about-
War was, you know,
Right, so that's
a
cinematic,
different
but
type of thing. It's like
I think you're
more-
talking about feeling like you're in an adventure movie or something
just like
that.
a movie in general, like an action movie or like an epic blockbuster type of thing. And obviously that's not what God of War is going for, but there are like set pieces in that. But I never
Yeah.
really felt like that same type of memorableness.
Battlefield 1 could have done it if they had an actual story. They had really cool vignettes, but they were more. It felt like you were in an HBO show or something.
Yeah, there's just like a really significant way that they are able to get you to remember the set pieces. I don't really know how, because it's like not the story itself isn't that great, but it's just the moments that they're able to kind of
very, very
make
iconic.
Yeah, but yeah, still great.
Awesome
Big
game.
recommend from me.
Yeah, big recommend. $20 I think is a very fair price. Like, I think they easily could have put this at 30. I think if they put it at 40, they'd have a lot of angry people because they cut the multiplayer out, and I think Modern Warfare 1 was sold at 40 with the multiplayer included.
It's crazy to
But-
think that that's considered a good deal for a 10-year-old game just
Yeah,
single
yeah.
player, though. It's hilarious.
Totally.
There should
No,
just
yeah.
be backwards compatibility, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, we shouldn't even be playing exactly.
Yeah. They shouldn't just be able to. This is exactly part of the problem I was just saying, is like that this
Yeah.
is even a thing, like that this has
Yeah.
been re-released and we're talking about it, and it's like more of a high profile than like a lot of other games, like that this is coming back, even though it's the same exact thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is kind of nice that everyone gets to jump in at the same time and have these discussions where we're all playing it. Whereas if it was just available on
Yeah, I
PS4 to
guess.
play, we would never like sit down and all play it at the same time and talk about it. So there is that, and I'm not inherently against remasters. Obviously, this game would have been fine without one, but yeah,
It's nice to have the ability to have a sort of retro discussion about a game, but also have it be not aged poorly.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
thing is, this game wouldn't have aged poorly in my mind. Like,
No, I don't think it would have. But
yeah,
this is probably a bad example, but
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
like if see a remaster of something like GoldenEye or something, that's what needs to be remade, that kind of thing, as like a
That wouldn't- that-
preservationist.
I don't think that.
Well,
would
that
work,
wouldn't. I
though.
mean, that was like a drop in the pan. That was a moment. That was of its time. So I don't think it would work either. But that type of thing.
But like Resident Evil, where like the level design
stuff-
is really
yeah,
good, but
yes,
then the
something-
gameplay isn't
yeah,
fun
some-
anymore. That type of
Right. Yeah. That type of.
Or
yeah. That's a better
we'll
example.
see. Final Fantasy perhaps will also be in that category,
Right.
but stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I hope going forward this won't be a thing we see more of in the next coming generations, because I hope we can all just play them. We just have access to our libraries of games that we've collected over the years and can play them all on one console. But for the time being, for $20, I'm having a fun time going through it, getting the trophies.
And this was one of the
And-
last like stragglers of games that I really, really loved from last generation that weren't available. It's like one
Yeah,
of the
that's
few.
true. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm assuming we'll see a Black Ops remaster at some
For
point.
next year.
Yeah.
The next one's allegedly going to be called just Black Ops again, which is
Which-
so confusing because they're going to make a Modern Warfare 2.
No. It's the thing
So
is,
it's like,
when's
why?
because they're stuck to these franchises now. They've done 4 Black Ops and then they're going to reboot it. They did Modern
4
Warfare,
Modern Warfares?
3 Modern Warfares, then they did Infinite, Advanced Warfare. So there's basically 2 like they don't even need to call them Call of Duty anymore. Like Call of Duty is supposed to be the name of the series, but now like Modern Warfare is just as recognizable of a name of the series. Same with Black Ops. So it's very confusing that at this point
it's just
we're
weird how
gonna
they don't
be-
just keep calling them 4, 5, 6, and you know what I mean?
It's
I
because-
think the idea is
it's
don't
'cause they
wanna
sell
cut
better.
people out of it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's so weird. Like,
it's
is
money.
anybody that
It's like-
wasn't gonna buy Modern Warfare, they're gonna buy
Apparently,
it if it's not
yeah.
4?
apparently
But where's the evidence? You know what I mean?
I assume they wouldn't be doing it if, like, that's just my assumption, is just they wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a financial incentive, because there's literally no reason other than that could possibly.
I mean, for the campaign, they reimagined it. It has nothing to do. It's like a alternate
Right.
universe. So
Yeah, but
maybe
just calling it that probably. I don't know.
that's also really stupid. But that's a whole.
I think in general, it's just evidence of what we've been talking about this whole time, is they're just refusing to innovate because they don't need to. I mean, who would blame them for not innovating when they're printing money every year? I'd be afraid to change. It's the Pokemon problem.
I mean, to be fair, they did try like new things for a while.
Well, yeah, but they're calling it. They've called. What's the last? I think Ghost was the last one that, or World War II was the last one that wasn't connected. But since Modern Warfare 1,
World War II also was a nostalgia play.
For World at War, yeah. But
Yeah.
since World at War came out,
Well,
there have
and
only
all
been
the first 3 series of the series.
yeah. Since World at War came out, there have only been 2 games that aren't titled either Warfare or Black Ops, and that's World War II and Ghosts.
Well, the Warfare
Right.
ones aren't affiliated with Modern Warfare.
No, but they're still called War. It's a play on Modern Warfare. It's
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare. It's like it's still a play off that type of thing.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Call of Duty will ever be great again? Like, not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Iconic again.
Yeah, I think it has the potential, just like anything can. Like God of War came out of nowhere and is suddenly this whole new amazing experience. Like, I think anything has a chance. Like Doom, who would have thought that Doom
Yeah.
is once again like this amazing game when it was a 1993 game, and then had a bunch of sequels that weren't as important as it, and then out of nowhere in 2016, this amazing game comes out. So I think
I would
anything has a
say
chance.
it's
I don't
unlikely,
think
though.
I don't think anytime soon. I think it would be the style of Doom where these games will be someday seen as these old retro, games like Doom is seen now. And in 20 years, we're going to have some crazy Call of Duty and people are going to be like, oh, this Call of Duty game. Wow.
I wonder how long it'll be before it sells bad enough that they stop making them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it'll have to get to a point where they'll never like completely retire it ever. There's no way.
They can't. Yeah.
But
no.
like if they did for like 5-6 years, that'd be like, I wonder what bar. Like,
Weren't you
where
saying
the
Modern
threshold is.
Warfare 2019 was the best-selling game of the console so far?
It's very high selling. I don't know if that's
Well,
specifically-
actually, GTA has
I think
to
it's like
be.
top. I think it's top 10 or top. I think it was the best selling Call of Duty ever.
Okay, if it's the best,
think.
yeah, then that means we haven't even reached the apex of
No,
sales
I know
yet.
that's what I'm saying. So I wonder how long it will be.
Yeah, maybe never.
It's so weird that it sells so much still without having that type of.
It
hype
has
around
something.
It feels
has
more like an
something-
obligation than like an excitement. People are, oh, new COD's coming out. Like I bought every
It just
single one except for
it
I didn't
has
buy
something that
Infinite
just
Warfare.
appeals to like people that don't play games as much. I don't know why. I'm not sure.
The multiplayer. That's the main reason.
Well, yeah, for sure, but like there's a lot of multiplayer games.
I mean, they also have, I would say, the best shooting mechanics. You know what I mean? Like, there's other multiplayer games, but it's not gonna feel like the same feel. Like Modern Warfare 2.
There's a lot of games though that are like they just aren't on people's radar. That's what I'm saying though. It's
And
like,
they have the biggest marketing team possible available
Yeah.
for a game.
Right. Yeah, you're seeing. I guess you see these ads during the Super Bowl, that kind of thing. So that's the real answer. Is it's just so big that it can sustain itself now on marketing and that sort of style of selling a game, as opposed to relying on reviews and word of mouth and that.
Yeah, they certainly don't need to do that.
No, not at all. Not at all. But if they, I mean, who are we to talk? Because I'm still playing. I had skipped on Call of Duty for a long time, but I came back for Modern Warfare and Black Ops 4. Mostly because just all our friends are playing online again, so that makes it a lot more fun.
I mean, I've liked every one of them. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah, no,
that
I know.
but
Right.
I have not loved one since Black Ops 1, maybe Black Ops 2, but Modern Warfare 3 was the first one where I
same.
was like, these are kind of getting stale. Not stale, because it's like, it is really, I keep saying dependable. It's like, it's dependable. Once a
Yeah.
year, you will get this thing that it's always polished. There's rarely ever issues with it, and you're going to get your money's worth. But there has not been one that would have been in my top 10 games of the year
No.
in forever. Where like
Yeah.
for like 4 or 5 years, it was like this is going to be one of the best video games that comes out
Right.
this year.
It's like a Naughty Dog game. That's what people saw. It was like you can expect this game to be very,
Yeah, they were
very good.
benchmark.
Right, exactly.
It's absolutely not the case anymore. Like they're never flops. Like even the ones I liked the least, like Black Ops 3 or
Yeah, you can
Advanced
still have a
Warfare,
good time.
Infinite
They're all
Warfare,
well-made games.
They're
You
fine.
could-
Like they were okay games. Like
Yeah.
I played them for 20 plus hours or whatever.
You're gonna get your money's worth with all of them. I'd say, like, if you're into online multiplayer shooters and an action-packed story. But yeah, I agree. Black Ops 2 was the last one I was super excited for, and nothing has made me excited for one since. But yeah, they're still, they are what they are at this point, and I am enjoying.
It's going to be a
Modern
long
Warfare
time
2.
before I don't buy one.
I've been waiting for reviews and for things for, like, I haven't bought one day one since. Oh, did I buy Black Ops 4 day one? I might have actually. Yeah, I did because of the Battle Royale. Yeah, and that's an innovation, I guess.
Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare were the only ones I didn't get day one. And Infinite Warfare I never bought. I just borrowed it. But all
Okay.
the other ones I bought day one besides Black Ops 3. But I bought Black Ops 3 pretty quickly after it came out. But yeah.
All
This
right.
is the Codcast now.
Yeah.
We only talk about fish.
All right. So that was our Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered discussion. And we are going to wrap it up, and we will see you all next week. Do you guys have any closing thoughts or wisdom for our listeners?
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pseudo Ludocast.
That's right. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends about it, and if you want to give us a rating on the podcast service of your choice, that would be fantastic too. If you're listening,
And Brian recently made a YouTube channel.
yeah,
With
Brian, you wanna
nothing
plug
on
that?
it. There's nothing on it. But
we'll be
what's it?
adding stuff to the YouTube channel. We'll probably have some
we-
videos coming out soon.
we're going to have to talk
we're
about
gonna-
that at some point.
Yeah, we're setting everything up. We are expanding. We're spreading our wings, and we are going to fly. And if you've listened to
Into
the
the
show and you
ground.
have any questions for any of us, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter. Just feel free to give us a follow. We'll DM you, whatever you want. But yeah, until next week, have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You know what? Hello, freak bitches.